Hello and welcome to Waterford Property Watch. I'm Darragh O'Connor of Liberty Blue Estate Agents, and today I'm joined by Louise Lynam, the Mortgage Manager of Bank of Ireland. Louise, quickly tell me, what do you do for Bank of Ireland?
Darragh, thank you for having me here today. Firstly, I am a mortgage manager at Bank of Ireland, and I'm there for over 20 years, so I've loads of experience, both from the front end to the back end. But our main journey is to look after our customers. And we're there 24/7, 365 days a year. And we can meet customers anytime that suits them. I'm not linked to any branch, so you can come to anywhere to meet me, cup of coffee, you can go to the phone, FaceTime. And basically, we're just there to make sure your mortgage journey is a smooth one.
Perfect. So can you tell us about the first steps a first-time buyer should take when considering purchasing a home, especially in developments like Copper Close, what we're selling at the moment?
Yeah, so first steps that you do is come talk to us, as I said, Darragh, right? It's very important you have your mortgage approval before we go to the likes of you. So the customer needs to be mortgage ready. So in order to do that, they need to see how much they can borrow. So come talk to us, we can see how much they can borrow. They need to be prepared to know what documentation they need to bring into us. Example like pay slips and salary certs, bank statements. Then they need to look at the property to see what suits their needs. Is it close to schools, their job? Is it brand new? Is it second-hand property? The other bit of advice I'd say is make sure you keep a current account squeaky clean.
Right.
And that you're not going into overdraft or you're not having unpaids, okay? If you're paying rent, make sure it's evident. Even if you're giving money to your parents, you live with your parents and giving them a few pounds, make sure that's noted in your current account as well.
Right.
Again, any savings you have, make sure you're keeping a regular record of same. You also need to look into the government schemes that are available. Example, the Help to Buy, the First Home Scheme and the Affordable Housing Scheme. So really, truly, my best tip would be to come and talk to your bank to see how much you can get before you go off shopping.
Yeah, and that's a great point. No matter how prepared you are, whether you have all your documents ready or you're really just at the very, very start, just go and talk.
Come and talk to us.
Yeah.
We're always there.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. And so can you explain the concept of loan to value, LTV, which some people might see, and how it affects mortgage options available to first-time buyers?
Yes, us banks, we love our jargon wordings. So LTV, which is known as loan to value, basically is the amount of loan you're requesting against the purchase price of the house. So I'm going to use Copper Close as an example, okay? So the purchase price is 367,500. The max loan you can get as a first-time buyer or owner-occupier is 90%. So in this case, it'd be 330,750. And then you must come up with a 10% deposit, which again will be 36,750. Now that 10% deposit can be your savings, shares, your Help to Buy, or it can be a gift from somebody. So it's not a major worry for customers, but that's based what loan to value is.
Yeah, great. And obviously with the Help to Buy then, some purchasers can earn up to 30,000.
Correct.
With the Help to Buy, which is a huge benefit.
Huge benefit to customers. And it's definitely something they should look into. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's revenue.ie for that one.
Correct.
And then in terms of the eco mortgage, how can first-time buyers take advantage of this for energy-efficient homes?
Yeah, so all banks have green mortgages, we want to call them, but ours is called the Eco Saver mortgage, okay? So my best tip is the better the BER, the better the rate, okay? So basically it is all houses are BER rated, as you know, from A to G. So again, the higher the rate, the higher the discount you get. So the more efficient your house is, the better your rate. So example in Copper Close, and all new properties are built at the moment, they all have to be A rated. So you'll always get the lowest rates available with Bank of Ireland for an A rated house. The good thing about Eco Saver mortgages is not just for first time buyers, it can also be for second time buyers. So if a customer is buying a second hand house, now again, if it's not A rated, we look and see what rates it is, what BER it is, and we'll apply the rate to that BER. But if the customers decide to do energy upgrades to property and they get discounts from us and they get a better rate. So if they bought the house, example, at a BER of D and they did some internal works that brought the BER rate up to a B, well then they would get a better rate on the mortgage.
After the fact of sale closing?
After the fact of sale closing.
So they should come into you once they get their solar panels,
correct,
their insulation upgrades, come back into yourselves and have a relook at it, essentially.
Yeah. So if you get a BER cert at any stage, or even in a few years' time, if a fixed rate matures and you have upgraded stuff and you forgot to tell us, you just submit the new BER cert to us and we'll apply the better rate to you then.
Yeah.
And it's not by the the figures, it's about the initial. So it doesn't have to be A1, 2 or 3 to get a better rate. Once just has the A on it, we apply the rate straight away.
Brilliant. And it's worth noting then, if you're doing any energy upgrades, it's worth noting getting a licensed contractor so it's official. So when you're getting your BER assessed, that it's all taken for. The paperwork needs to be there essentially.
Yes.
So then a little bit back on first-time buyers again. What should they be aware of when they're preparing for their very first mortgage application?
What is she aware of? Okay, so first-time buyers can get 4 times their income. Okay, so it's a big plus. The central bank changed that a few years ago. Also, there's exceptions available, and people don't know this. So all banks are allowed to give an exception on the 4 times in income, okay? So it really depends on certain circumstances, and we have a certain pool to do that. So again, come talk to us to see, can you get above your 4 times your income, okay? First-time buyers then, as I said, it's important that you know your BER rating. So again, the better the BER, the better the rate. I would always say, come talk to us early again. I know I repeat myself
before they
about
find
that,
their house.
but before they find their house. So for first-time buyers, to see how much they can borrow. They can get approval in principle, like with no house in mind. And at least, you know, you're going out shopping knowing that you have your approval. And you know this lasts 12 months. So you know exactly how much the bank will give you. And it's based on your own personal circumstances. So it's very, very important to come in and talk to us, okay? You have to have a minimum of the 10% deposit, okay? But again, that can be from your Help to Buy, it can be gift, it can be shares, it can be savings. Other tips I give first-time buyers is, you know, don't be afraid to ask a question. Come in and talk to us. We're the experts, right? They're experts at their jobs. No question stupid. So don't feel, oh, I can't have come into the bank. I don't want to ask that question. And again, it's never too early, right? So you might be thinking of buying in a year's time. Come in now, get your stuff correctly, get your ducks in a row, know what you need to do to plan to buy the house in a year's time. So they're the tips I would give first-time buyers who are looking at buying a house. Yeah,
those are great tips. You can never be too early, and it just helps being organised with your documents, knowing what schemes are available to you, and then the pros and cons of second homes and obviously new builds. Yeah, great tips there. So on first-time buyers again, how can first-time buyers ensure that they're financially ready for the associated costs beyond the mortgage, such as insurance, contents, stamp duty, solicitor fees, these little things throughout the person journey?
So again, when you're starting off, going from the very beginning of your mortgage journey, when you come into us, you have to have the 10%, okay? But you also have to have your stamp duty and legal fees. So I'm just going to give a very quick example, which we say with copper close. Because copper close is $367,500 the purchase price, you have to have 10%, which is $36,750. You have to stamp duty, and stamp duty is 1% of the purchase price up to $1 million. So we won't talk about over the million at the moment, Darragh.
Of course.
So if it's 1%, it's $3,675 of a stamp duty, and then your legal fees, which again can be between $1,500 and $2,000. So looking at buying copper close, you have to show the bank you'd have in around $42,000 together. Now that again can be from your Help to Buy, your savings, and your shares. Okay. Then you get approved, and you delight yourself. Then you go and get a valuation done on your property. And that can cost anything between €150 and €200. Okay. So then you have the valuation done. And as you said, there is associated costs like your home insurance and your life insurance. So life insurance, also known as mortgage protection. It's very important to take that out. That unfortunately, if you die untimely death during your mortgage term, your mortgage is cleared off. So that's what life insurance basically is. And then home insurance, again, is for home and contents. So in the event of a fire damage, theft, or water damage, your house is covered. Both of them combined for first-time buyers are usually around €50 a month. So it's not a huge commitment, but at least
very important.
You're covered. Exactly, okay? In relation to buying a second-hand house, and just as my personal advice, I would always recommend a customer to get a structural survey done to make sure everything's okay at their house, okay? The bank do make it compulsory if a house is over 100 years old. So it's only the cost you will have. Otherwise than that, it's up to yourself to go and get your fittings and furnitures.
That's a great piece of advice. And just similarly to that on the new builds, just be ready for a snagging cost as well, because you'll have to get an engineer in to snag your new build as well. So like the engineer for the second-hand home, you'll have to take that in consideration with the new builds as well.
Yes.
And then they may even do a re-inspection as well. So just be prepared for that. So then I just want to talk a little bit about a fixed rate mortgage for first-time buyers. You know, how may that be for new buyers looking at new builds and being energy efficient, fixed term mortgages?
Okay, so a fixed term mortgage, right, basically means you're fixed a period of time.
Yeah.
So if you decide to go for a 4-year fixed rate mortgage, you are fixed for 4 years. Whether rates go up or down, you know what you're paying. So sometimes it's easier to explain when you have an example, okay?
Yeah.
So again, if you're going for copper close,
yeah,
and you're getting a mortgage of 330,000, 750 over, say, 35 years. And because all new houses in Ireland are now B or A rated, you're getting the best rates. So we take the 5-year fix at 3.9. Your monthly repayment on that will be 1,442 a month. So if you're doing it for 5 years, you know for the next 60 months, whether rates go up or down, you're paying the 1,442. When your fixed term matures, okay, you have the option to refix or go variable. Right. So the bank will write out about 2-3 months before that matures, and they'll offer the rates at the time. And this is where, again, if a person buys a second-hand house and decides to do some energy efficient upgrades to it, they might get a better rate because the BER has gone up since.
Right. Okay.
So it's very, very important to constantly talk to your bank.
Yeah, that's some great advice there. And these are great tips for first-time buyers. And first-time buyers who are watching this and they want to keep their accounts clean getting their mortgage, even when they have a house picked, they could even be sale agreed. They might even need an extension in line. Can you talk a little bit about keeping their bank accounts clean?
Yes. Darragh, it's so important. So people think once they've approval, they can start changing their habits. Don't. That's one thing. Do not change anything until you actually have the keys of your house in your hand, okay? So understandable things happen, right? You might have to buy a new car, your job might have to change. But by talking to us, we can advise you whether it's a good thing or a bad thing for you to do.
Yeah.
But definitely all your savings habits, everything you've done at approval stage, you need to keep that the very, very same until you have your keys in your hand. And just on that as well, Darragh, we do give people a proven principle for 12 months, okay?
Right.
So if you've no house picked out, you come in today, you get approved today for more than 300,000, that stays in place for the next 12 months, okay? And unfortunately, if you don't find a dream home within the 12 months, you reapply again next year. But again, you'll have to produce all the documents and confirm everything. If you're lucky to secure a house in Copper Close, your offer letter lasts 6 months.
Right.
And again, if unfortunately, with Ireland or weather, sometimes can delay closing of a house, as you can understand. And if that's the case, we could ask customers for up-to-date payslips and bank statements. So that's why it's so important. Watch the day one application. You keep doing that until you draw down. And if things change, come in and talk to us and we'll see what we can do for you.
That's a great point. What advice would you have for those, if they're buying a new home, they're thinking they need to get furniture, appliances, and your advice, would that be the same? Come in and talk.
Come in and talk. Oh, yeah, it's very important. And again, with Bank of Ireland, we have a great offer at the moment.
Right.
We have a cashback.
Okay.
Right. So again, I'm just taking Copper Close because people do like figures.
Yeah.
And if you're borrowing 330,750, you get 3% cashback, which is 9,922.
A great start.
Now, unfortunately, you only get 2% 45 days after drawing down.
Yeah.
So you get about 6,500. So you could use that to furniture and fit into your house. But a lot of people as well, once they put their deposit on the house, they actually do save a bit more. So they actually know, I need to get,
of course,
carpets. I need to get white utensils, we call it ourselves, and that's they save for. So we do include that in our figures. We always make sure a customer is not tied to the collar.
Okay.
We want to ensure they enjoy their house when they move into it as well.
Of course, that's a great point. Yeah. And the likes of yourselves and Bank of Ireland, how would you work with new home buyers in developments like Copper Close and offer tailored mortgage solutions for first-time buyers?
Okay, so the beauty about Copper Close is it is a BER A-rated house, so we can naturally enough offer the best rates we have in the market with Bank of Ireland. We do have competitive fixed rates from 1 to 10 years fixed. We do have the 3% cashback, as I said, so that's available to all customers. You get 2% 45 days after initial drawdown, and you get the 1% 3 years or 5 years later.
Yeah.
That's another beauty. We also have little flexible options. So we have, example, you can do a deferred start. So you draw your mortgage down, we say in July, but you mightn't pay your mortgage repayment for the first 3 months. So you can delay it, which is a nice option. We do payment breaks throughout the term of the mortgage. We do also have a bonus mortgage saver account where you get a bonus of 2,000, less dirt, unfortunately, if you have one of those accounts with ourselves.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we're going to work as a team, you and I, Darragh, to make sure the customer has a smooth closing. So if anything arises between the two of us, we can sort it without upsetting the customer. We want to ensure they like their house. They're going to be, and there's no kind of bad feelings. So it's very important that we work to make sure they have a smooth closing.
Yeah, it's all, as you said, it's all on the same team, all chasing the one goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great point. And then in terms of the mortgage process, how does it differ from first-time buyers purchasing a new home compared to a second-hand property?
Okay, so buying a new home compared to second-hand property.
Yeah.
Okay, so granted, a new home, we all know the BER rating is A. When it comes to second-hand property, we just have to find out what the BER rating is.
Yeah.
We also have to see, is it needed works or is it turnkey property, okay? So if a customer is buying a second-hand property and it does need some essential works to it, we can also take that in consideration. Again, as I said earlier, if the property is over 100 years old, we will require the structure survey.
Right.
If it's less, we don't. But I really think it's important for customers to get it done, because the day you buy your house is also the day you sell it. So it's important you're aware of what's wrong with the house when you're signing that contract.
Very true.
Do you mean that's my personal advice anyway? But otherwise than that, there's no major difference. You mean, look, okay, on a brand new property, we know it's a B or A, but on a second-hand property, it depends. And every house, as you know, when you're selling it, it now has to have a valid B or cert.
Of course,
So we do know what it is, so we can rate our customers straight away and let them know, right, that's a B or C. This is the rate applicable to this house. So it's no real difference, only the BER ratings.
Yeah, brilliant. And then things like obviously Help to Buy and then the first home scheme, things like that.
Yeah, they're for the first time buyers, but unfortunately not available to the second time buyers.
Of course. So. And then that's all really good advice, Louise. If you had to give one tip to buyers out there, what would that be?
Come talk to us as early as you can. The minute you even think about looking to buy a house.
Go on and talk.
Come and talk to us. Don't be afraid.
No stupid questions.
No questions are stupid. And we're here to help you. We are... People laugh when I say this, but we are your best friend throughout this mortgage journey. We should be at the other end of the phone at any time you have any questions or queries, and we should make your journey a smooth one to get into your dream home.
Brilliant. So that's a great piece of advice. Just go in and talk.
Go in and talk to us.
That's brilliant. So I want to thank Louise for coming in on this episode of Waterford Property Watch. Thanks for watching. If you need any advice, contact us, Liberty Blue. Thank you for watching.